All right, guys, I'm with Basil. Third time on the channel. Is it? Third time on the channel.
Yes.
But now he's actually on the channel as a successful student, and he's here to share his story, like what he went through inside the coaching program that I have created. Like, what did he learn? How was his interviewing experience? What is he doing on a daily basis? Is he hacking NASA with HTML? All that good stuff. Let's go, bro. All right, Basil, congrats for landing your first dev job. What is your role? Let's start with that, with the meat and the potatoes.
So I'm currently working as a front-end developer. Yeah.
Front end.
Primarily as front-end, and I play around with Google Firestore as well as a backend. Yeah.
And you are in the UK, right? In London.
Yes, I'm based in London right now.
All right, my start city as well. Okay, cool. So you are a front-end dev. For how long have you been? Did you teach yourself programming? And then for how long did you teach yourself programming? And then when did you decide to be a part of? Okay, let's start with this. When did you start learning programming?
So I probably started 7 months ago, probably as a self-taught developer, doing the usual,
7 months, is it?
7 months ago, yeah. So I think 7-8 months ago, yeah. Doing the usual, I started as self-taught, started an Udemy course, one after another, and I created a couple of mini projects, or I could call it a portfolio, and I started applying for jobs. And I was lucky enough, to be honest. I got an internship. It was primarily working with jQuery, and it wasn't something I was interested in. So I was really interested in working as a React developer. And while I was applying for React dev roles, I wasn't getting enough attention. So I thought to myself, there must be something wrong I'm doing, or must be lacking something, because I'm not getting any response from applying to various roles, right? And this is when I came across your channel and I applied for the internship. Yeah.
And what were you feeling learning code by yourself? Like what was going through your mind? Like, were you hopeful? Were you desperate? Were you like restless? How were you feeling?
To be honest, the way I remember it is that I was feeling very confident initially, because I was feeling like I'm learning a lot actually while going through HTML, while going through CSS, and I was creating some websites, and it made me feel very comfortable. But then one day I remember, I still have this memory in my head. After I've created multiple websites, I was still new at that time. I was thinking, where does JavaScript come into play? So I have 3-4 websites that I've created, but I barely use JavaScript, maybe just to change a background color, or to change the text inside the box, or do something very basics, right? And once I've created those projects, I start applying, and then after I wasn't successful, then I was like, there must be more to look into in terms of JavaScript itself, because it doesn't make sense of me to get a job without actually utilizing JavaScript a lot. Yeah. So similar to
so it was like, that you need to learn JavaScript, but you just couldn't tell like what should you be doing with it.
Exactly. I remember I went into Udemy and I purchased a React course, and I felt without even knowing 20% of JavaScript. I didn't even know the difference between a dot notation or a bracket notation, right, while you're accessing an object. And I felt super overwhelmed, because I didn't get what's the point, what's the idea of what they're actually trying to teach, because I lacked the fundamental, and I didn't even know that I lacked the fundamental. So it was a disaster. You could call it a disaster, but I didn't know. That's the thing, right? I didn't know. I knew there was something missing, but I didn't know exactly what is it. And I knew it has to do with JavaScript, because I haven't utilized it a lot. Most of my websites that I've created, they were primarily just plain HTML and CSS with very, very, very few JavaScript. And you should.
I had sorry to interrupt, but I have
No,
another student right now. His name is Pinak. Hopefully he's gonna watch this video. And he joined like in April, and he was like very eager, you know. He was doing React and all this stuff when I met him. I think you were doing React as well when I met you. And I was like, yeah, bro, you need to start doing some JavaScript. And he was like, no, you're not right, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, yeah, okay, fine. Keep doing what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And he kept like asking me like, hey, bro, I want to do React. I want to do React. Okay, prove to me that you can do this app in JavaScript. And then you can go and do React. And he couldn't do it. And then he did my way. He learned his stuff. And now I'm actually every day making fun of him. And I'm like, hey, bro, do you want to learn React right now? Because right now he's doing the team project and all that stuff. But we have like an internal joke, you know, not like I'm making fun of him, but like.
Yeah, I remember the weekly calls.
Yeah. So like, you don't even know what you don't know. So that's kind of the problem, you know. Okay, and what should I ask you? Because all the interviews are the same. Like, okay, what was the most beneficial thing that you got from the coaching program? Because you weren't even getting the full-time program, right? You took
the lower version of that.
The lower version, right? How was that? How did that help you? Or like, what happened the moment you joined the program? What was going through your mind?
I think I knew how much of JavaScript I didn't know. That's one of the most important things. Also, there was a mindset shift in terms of looking at any website or web application usually from a perspective of data first principle. Because wherever you interact with is just data, and we're manipulating that data to create an application. And I remember even my senior developer right now, whenever at the initial, during the first month, whenever I make a change in the UI, and it could be done through manipulating the actual data or the object or the array of objects, he will always advise me to just change the data and let the code be dynamic, so it will change everything for you. So you don't have to write so much logic at the front end. Always try to avoid writing so much logic at the front end and just leave the work for the data to do everything. And this is something you taught me, but it takes time to click, and it takes time to. So for example, when I've created the crypto app, was fully dynamic. The more data we have, the more coins we will fetch. The table will get longer, etc. But having this mindset, without actually, because you think as a newbie that most of the logic will be written in the front end, which is kind of true, but there is a lot of manipulation that could be done by just adding a property to true, false, delete it to true, false, and then you just have to use a couple of if statements at the front end, to simplify.
I would also say to that, because like noobs think that their value is from writing code, but I think the value comes from avoiding writing code and like preparing
the data.
But yeah, they do, like, for example, the to-do app, and they're like, oh yeah, I've done the to-do app, but they've done it in the wrong way, which they didn't.
Most of the logic is at the front end, is not driven by the data as well.
Exactly, and that's why they don't understand React, and they don't understand React, and then they don't understand Redux, and so on and so forth. Like everything there's like a foundation, and there are layers.
You could tell, if someone is a newbie, if they, let's say, delete an item and then they just filter it out from, let's say, an array of objects. But what you could do, which is better, if you have, let's say, which is this item is going to be an object, and you just add a property called delete to true. And then whenever it's true, it's not going to be shown in the UI. So you always make your decision based on your data and not write so much logic at the front end. So this is one of the things that, so data-driven, basically, UI. This is one of the things that I've learned during the program. In any application, I think, they always follow this terminology, or they follow this way of developing stuff.
They just don't call it like that. They don't have a name for it, probably, right? Because it's like assumed.
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can. Yeah.
Yeah. So they don't call it like that. They just assume it's called like that.
Yes. So this is just what I call it. Yeah. But this is
Yeah.
one of the things that have. This is one of, I think this is the crucial point that I've gained from the program. In addition, also how to think like a developer, because usually when you just started, you always think that other developer, they know everything and they just know everything by heart. And in reality, they actually, yes, they know the fundamentals, the basic, the foundation, but they always Google. I wouldn't say most of the thing, because over time you get used to the writing the syntax. But if it was, let's say, for example, what's the difference between slice and splice, for example, right?
Yeah.
You are a senior, but you might not know, for example, right now, what's the difference, right? But you could Google it. And this is one of the things. So I always had this idea in my head that I should know everything by heart.
Insecurity.
Exactly, you could call it insecurity. But in reality, once you know the fundamentals with JavaScript, then it's a matter of just Googling to find out a method that would do something specific to manipulate your data. And then you will just create any feature that you would like. Yeah.
It's all about the data, bro. Okay.
It's just data.
It's so simple, yet simple things.
It's like sorry to interrupt you. It's just a mindset shift. It's a complete different mindset. Yeah. It took me some time, and I'm still learning. From time to time, I would fall. I make a mistake, and then I would make a decision based on the UI itself. But it's a learning process. Yeah.
What changed now that?
Yeah.
For how long have you been coding professionally? 2 months, 3 months?
2 months. 2 months.
2 months.
2 months.
And let's start with this. Is it what you were expecting it to be? Like, you are like, what were you expecting it to be? And is it like how you were expecting it to be?
Okay. Honestly, I was expecting it to be extremely challenging, extremely hard, code bases that I would not be able to easily understand. And I would probably say I wouldn't call it issue, but the only challenge that I have is finding. So let's say if you are on a specific part of the application and you want to find out where is this located in your code base, that's something would take time once you familiarize yourself with the code base. But once I familiarize with myself with the code base structure, now everything is easy, Christian. And it is so funny that sometimes they will assign me some tickets. I will finish them in 3 hours, 4 hours, and then I'm left with nothing to do.
It's weird, right?
It's this, and I'm like, that's it.
What were you doing before coding?
No, I was just doing because once I left uni, then I started just I decided to transition into coding. Yeah.
But you didn't have any job, no?
No. I did a lot of just part-time stuff, but nothing, nothing consistent for a long time. Yeah.
So when I came with the chicken truck from Romania to London, of course I had work. So
yes.
I was feeling guilty for not working. You know what I mean? It took me It took me 3 years, bro, to get to understand. Oh, this is normal. You don't need to be on the chicken truck all the time, and
I'll tell you something really funny, man. But don't make fun of me. So I remember this one day, right? My senior developer, or the lead, actually it's the lead. They assigned me 2 tickets, and one of them was just filtering, which is very simple. One of them was just doing a simple task, and I finished them in 2 hours. And I kept emailing him. Was like, oh, can you assign me more tickets? Can you assign me more tickets? Can you assign me more tickets on Trello? And then the guy literally just texts me, bro, chill out, go have a coffee and relax.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking of having this guilt. I'm getting paid a lot of money, right? And I'm not actually doing a lot of work. It's just 2 hours of my time. And they don't care. As long as you finish the tickets, they're very chill, they relax. And people would say it's a very stressful job, but I would say probably
I don't understand why they say that. Probably like Netflix, Google, Amazon, where they fucking treat you like a slave and like a fucking real chili the wheel. But for the rest of the companies, I don't think it's like that. I've never experienced that. I've never had that problem in my life,
Me too. No, no, not at all. Yeah.
Let's do this. Quick one.
Yes.
How old are you, bro?
I'm 26.
26. Okay, so you're like 3 years younger than me. How much cash are you making? Let's see that. And then.
Okay. So actually, after the program, if you remember, I got two offers.
Mm-hmm.
One of them was 35K plus a bonus, which is usually between 2 to 3K.
Mm-hmm.
And the other offer was 40K plus 5K bonus. And this is just net bonus. Yeah. So in total, it's 45K compensation.
Bro, let me show you this for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
There'll be some people in the US, you know, they'll be like, oh, how much?
No, for London, this is actually, what is that?
Average
the median salary?
26.
You know how much is this? This is probably like £1,800, you know, after taxes per month.
Bro, I was making that money after in my second year as a programmer, and you got it from your first year. And you've done a good job, you know, but I have to flex my results as well. And I'm pretty happy.
Yes.
Constantine, I don't know if you know.
Constantine. No, I know him, but I've never met him. Yeah, I know him doing the program.
He also got bumped to 45 as well. So he's.
That's nice. That's nice.
9 months in, yeah, he messaged me. We're gonna have him again on the channel, which is pretty sick, bro. I'm happy for all of you. What are your plans now?
So I'm already thinking.
So what do you wanna do?
So I don't know if this is relevant or not, but for my plan is just maybe in 9, 10, 11 months. I'll probably, if I haven't got the raise that I want, I'll probably be applying for new jobs and then jump from 45 to 50 something. This is in a year time. But I'll tell you something, you know, super funny that I came across. So one of my senior developers advised me to watch an Udemy course, right? That has to do with React. And I found this a bit maybe interesting, because whenever you know a lot of the fundamentals and you watch a Udemy course, I feel like the amount of information you gain, it triples compared to whenever you just started learning how to code and you watch a course. I don't know if that makes sense or no.
I was talking with Imran, another guy. I don't know if you know him.
I know Imran. Yes, yeah.
And we were talking about exactly this. Like, once you know your thing, you can just use it as a dictionary.
Yes. And you learn a lot, you know. You feel like, oh, okay, I'm grabbing a lot of information compared to just grabbing it, you know.
Yeah, but because you have the foundation, right? So that was when I made the program, that was my challenge, right? Because some people complain like, oh, you don't have everything in there. Yeah, but I haven't made my program to teach you all the keywords, and because you've seen it's like bare bones, right? But it's made to make you think. And you haven't been through the entire program, because you've been through the ending of the JavaScript and React.
Yes,
right?
yes, and yes.
Yeah, so the entire.
Like for example, I've tried to learn two things, you know, well known in React: custom hooks and context API, because I needed to use them in sub application, right? And it just took me probably like a couple of hours, just go through the tutorial quickly, or a documentation, understand what it do. And and the funny thing is, I'm not even looking at the implementation, and I'm just only looking what they're doing with the data. That's what I'm just concerned about. Oh, okay, so context API will allow me to do this, and then I could use a use memo or a callback to avoid unnecessary reminders, and then I will have my data anywhere, similar to what we have in React, but in a different manner, I could say.
I've added this as well. No.
And then boom, implement it, start using it. Because anything you need to implement is actually, you have the documentation online. So it's all about right now is, should I use a context? Is it better to use a Redux, or should I use a custom hook to fetch my data? Or is it better to fetch my data in a user effect?
Architecture problem.
Yes, architecture problem. So good developers, they make good decisions. It's not about writing code. This is what I've realized with time. It's not about writing code. Everyone get to a point where they can write codes, fully functional codes. But good architecture is difficult, Christian.
I know.
It takes time.
That's why I'm like, ChatGPT,
Yeah.
like a lot of people are concerned with ChatGPT. And the reason why I'm not concerned with it is because, like, if you build a building, you need two types of people, right? You need the architect and you need the builder.
A builder.
And so far, the programmer was both the architect and the builder. But now we can remove the builder part and outsource it to ChatGPT, and then you can do more of the architecture part, which is the thing that you're gonna get paid for, right? So I believe that because we have AI and we can build more companies want to outcompete each other, right? Because like everyone is like fighting for some piece of the market. And because of that, they can iterate more, they can create more. So I think there will be more and more jobs, especially in web dev. Like, even though web dev is the easiest to get in, it's the most competitive because you have all the fucking options in the world. You know what I mean? Like, you can do a bunch of things really quick. And you have this agility, in my opinion. Anyways.
Yeah, that's fine.
Sidetrack.
Developer stuff, yeah.
Sidetracked. Okay, let's see. Who do you think should join this program? What do you think is the characteristic of the person that should apply for this mentorship and be part of this program?
Actually, very interesting. So someone who's been doing this for a while, and he's I wouldn't say self-motivated, because motivation is not enough, but someone who's dedicated to put the hours in, and someone who's putting a lot of effort, but he's not getting to the results that he wants. So it must be he's putting a lot of effort in the wrong direction, and this will be your job, Christian, to just redirect his effort into the right direction. Because there is a lot of stuff that has to do with JavaScript, a lot of mindset shifts that he will gain from actually joining the program. Yeah.
I also agree as well. Like, that's why I also showed you this sneak peek. I'm building this beginner program because I don't want to, I still work with beginners, with noobs, but I do prefer working with people that are already, you know, hungry,
putting the effort in
to get in and to kill it. You know, it's more interesting for me to have different conversations with people that build stuff rather than learn stuff, you know. That's a good one. And yeah, I don't know what to ask, bro, because they're all the same. What did you do? Done this. I've learned data, React. It's just people are very like scared, you know, they are not sure if this is the right thing for them, you know what I mean? They've seen probably boot camps, and I'm a guy from YouTube, and they might be asking like, what the hell, trust that guy? What would you say to that type of person that's watching this?
I'll probably advise him, if you would like, if you're a logical person and you like to see some results and then make a decision based on the results, just check out Christian's website, see all the feedbacks, the reviews from people, and you could make an informed decision based on those reviews. And yeah, that should be pretty enough for anyone, you know, to believe in the program, believe in the mentorship, and save themselves, you know, a lot of time and hustle. That's what I would probably say. Because you might be lucky and you might get a job, but you will be stressed as hell if your fundamentals are not in there. Because a very small, tiny thing in JavaScript, if you don't know it, might make you stuck in a place that it could be just solved in a couple of seconds.
One question.
Yeah, sure. I remember there is when this guy, do you remember, you know, while I was in the program, and I've told you I had a friend of mine who joined the boot camp before I met you. I mentioned him one time. I remember one time he showed me a problem he was stuck on for like a couple of hours, and he was actually trying to index an object, and he didn't know the difference between, they taught him in the bootcamp the dot notation to index an object, but they didn't teach him a bracket notation. And if you use a bracket notation, then it has to be a string, right? It cannot be, you cannot use the same property name as
Mhm.
in, this is just for all the developers. They know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about. Anyway,
probably they
and
don't,
he
but
was
yeah.
just stuck. So seriously,
I mean, you know it because I have like bunch of videos
yeah,
about it, and I'm talking about this because I know it
yeah,
comes up a lot. But most
yes,
people, they're like, oh yeah, whatever. But yeah, anyway,
yeah,
continue,
and then,
continue.
yeah, and then he was stuck for like a couple of hours, and then I told him, bro, why don't you just use bracket notation, have this text, and then I showed him how to do it, and he looked at me as if like I'm kind of like doing magic or something. And then I told him it's better for your situation, instead of having an array of objects, just have an object of object with a specific keys, and you
Mhm.
could just index the object with their keys. And I showed him how to do it, and he thought, I've got a couple of years of experience. So it's all down to the fundamentals, actually. The fundamentals, the fundamentals,
Yeah,
the fundamentals.
I know. But whenever I
Yeah.
see that, people say I'm a fucking scammer. You know, I've seen some guys, oh,
Mm,
you are too evil, blah blah blah. It's
because yeah, you could move your data around using props, using Redux, using context API. You could fly them around the way you like, but you will get to a point whenever you want to create a feature, you will need to manipulate that data, access it, filter it, reduce it, do whatever with it. And this is where the JavaScript will come handy. And this is where the program will help you. So save yourself time. I would probably advise everyone.
you know,
And if
like
you're serious about it, yeah, just join.
the reason why I put so much emphasis on this data thing
Mm-hmm.
is because in my jobs, the highest paid ones, I've learned
Mm-hmm.
from the smartest developers that the data
Mm-hmm.
is the most important one, you know. So that's why I put so much emphasis on like objects, the methods. You haven't even seen this new stuff that I've added in, you know, like I should flex it on you, but like I'm not gonna do it. But I've added so much stuff because I'm only data. Because I want them
Because
to
any
see the
application is
matrix.
data.
They need to see the matrix, you know. Because once you see the
Mm-hmm.
matrix, then I can just give you a tip, and then okay, that makes sense. Okay, that makes sense, you know.
Yes. Yeah,
It's the
I
more
will index the data with, yeah, with this, with a key, with an object, with whatever, yeah. And then
everything has
manipulate it.
every skill has a
Yeah,
matrix, you know. Every skill has a matrix, and for coding, this
yeah.
is it, you know. But yeah.
Because I do remember, in one of the videos, this is even before I joined the program,
Mm-hmm.
you mentioned that web development or application development is only fun for like 2 years. And at that time, I was thinking in my head, if you are really good at it and you're enjoying doing it, why would it be boring after a couple of years, right?
Uh-huh.
And I'm already bored now. It's 2 months in, bro.
I know. I know, because it
It's the
becomes like,
same thing again and again and again and again and again. That's it. Sometimes you come across interesting stuff because you have to make infrastructure
yes,
decisions.
exactly. But those
But
are like
apart
every
from
3 months.
this,
Every three
this
months.
is once they want to develop like a big feature, right? But
Yeah.
apart from that, you just go there, you do this. Once you look at the ticket, you think in your head, oh, okay, I'm gonna do
Yeah,
this. Boom.
but when you go to the gym, you're not gonna make a PR
Yeah.
every time, right? No?
Yes.
You
Yes.
have a program that you need to follow, and then it's made so you can pick every 4 weeks, and then you
Mm-hmm.
picked. It's the same, right?
Yes.
But
Yes. Yes.
beginners don't
Yes.
understand that because they see the excited influencers on Twitter that only talk about coding, and they think that's how it is. But
Mm-hmm.
there is such a thing called the natural, and then you
Mm-hmm.
have like a self-taught person, right? And this is not
Mm-hmm.
only about coding, because you can be, I don't know if you have abs, bro, but I never had abs, right? But you had
Yeah.
colleagues
Yeah.
that had abs, right, in high school. No
Yes.
matter what
Yes.
they
Yes.
ate, they always had abs because they
They're
were
always in
natural. They
need.
had good genetics, right? And it's the same for
Mm-hmm.
coding, right? Some guys have good genetics for coding, and some no. But you can still teach yourself if you have the right mindset, and once you get it, you get it, you know. But don't compare you as a self-taught,
Mm-hmm.
as a self-made, non-natural with a natural, because that's when you're gonna lose it. You know what I mean?
Yes. Because it just comparison is not fair at this point.
Exactly, because once I
Yeah.
got my job, I was feeling guilty because I wasn't interested in learning more about coding. You know, I was forcing myself but it was just a thing that I wanted to achieve, to make the cash, to have the benefits, and then whatever.
Yes.
And then I looked for the next thing because I like learning stuff, and that's how I ended up. I was about
Doing
to end
this
up being a
internship.
stripper in Ibiza, but like, no, I'm not even joking. But then I decided,
Yeah.
okay, I'm gonna start this business, you know. And that's
And it did work out.
yeah.
Luckily for us.
Yeah. Luckily for
Yeah.
me as well, because I would have sold my
Yeah.
body for like $5
Yeah.
in Ibiza.
Oh,
Anyway,
shit.
side note. Cool, man. All right.
One last thing just to mention. Sorry to interrupt you.
Yes.
You should always join. You should join this program also because you need to know Git and the fundamentals are everything.
Oh yeah.
I can't stress out how important is it, because you're gonna use it every day. You're gonna create branches. You're gonna, commit to stash your stuff, and you're always gonna be switching branches to show different
All right.
progress.
Let me flex on you again. When
Yes.
we came in, we had, if you thought Git was good, it was like 10% of what we have right now.
Oh, because
Yeah,
you taught us the basics, like 20%.
But
of
right
it.
now, these motherfuckers are doing like 3-4 months of Git in a team, not just with me. And some is doing the back end, some is, so it's like a proper team. And
Nice.
I don't know if you ever started code with Codecademy.
No, luckily no, never.
They teach you Git from your first day, which is the most stupid thing I've ever seen in my entire life, in my opinion. I don't know why would you do that. These guys are just creating, these courses, bro, are just making it harder for people to start, to the point where they give up, instead of like creating models for each part of the process, But, yeah. Anyway.